Festerson. Goodwin. Harding. Hug. Mr. President.
Here, please stand for the pledge of allegiance. Remain standing for opening remarks by Council Member
and millions of vulnerable families going without their food stamp or SNAP benefits. To qualify for SNAP in 2025, a family of four's net income after certain expenses can't exceed the federal poverty line, which is $32,000 per year. Last year, SNAP assisted nearly 42 million people, about 2/3 of whom were families with children. In Nebraska, 150,000, or nearly 8% of our families, depend upon SNAP. As a former food pantry administrator, I can remember having to tell a mother of four that $4 over her income put her over the eligibility for SNAP food assistance, which emphasizes the barriers that so many working families face. I'm proud to say that our local government, including the City of Omaha's citywide food drive led by Mayor Ewing, has raised over 8,676 pounds of food since last count on Sunday. In addition, the Douglas County Commissioner's Emergency Relief Fund of $200,000 and the City of Omaha's Emergency Food Relief of $45,000 means that nearly 2,450,000 meals will be provided to local families who would otherwise go without. In addition, this City Council approved an additional $150,000 to support food pantries in 2026, an equivalent of 1,500,000 meals. The community has stepped up its efforts with organizations like CHI and the Goodwill participating on drop-off sites. And I want to take this opportunity to thank all of our citizens, partners, and elected officials for stepping up at this crucial moment in time. I also want to encourage those who can to continue to support your local food pantries, whether it's a monetary donation, non-perishable items, or a few hours of volunteering. The City of Omaha has designated 13 community center sites as drop-off locations. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Goodwin. Before we begin our meeting, I wanted to just take a moment of personal privilege, if you'll indulge me. This past weekend, we had daylight savings time, spring forward, fall back time of the year, and we're always reminded to check our smoke detectors. And Sunday night, I personally was reminded of why we do that. A couple days before that, as I went onto my back porch, I could smell an odd kind of smell that I kind of dismiss as I walked down my back steps to go to my laundry room in the basement. And Friday, Saturday, then Sunday night came along, and before I went to bed, I was going to zip downstairs to get my clothes for the following day. And that, as I opened my back door, that aroma kind of hit me, and it really, it bugged me. So I kind of looked around, and I had a big roll of Costco toilet paper that I grabbed earlier in the week sitting there. And as I looked down and I heard a crackling. And as I moved that, there was an outlet behind that was smoking, and there was flames, and it was arcing. And as I, as any homeowner, you look at that and you go through, as they say, your football progressions, right? What a quarterback does. And I'm looking at this and I'm kind of freaking out a little bit. I'm like, what do I do? Do I go get a cup of water and dump it on that? Absolutely not. So I called 911, and it's station 34 up from my house, who this summer I hosted those firefighters down for a grill out. And I called 911, and within, it seemed like seconds, as there's smoke coming out, it's not, my house isn't on fire, but that plug is going up the wall, and it's raised my attention. And I called 911. The operator was absolutely great. Firefighters arrived in no time, and they took care of the issue. We got the breaker shut off, and before, I think that had I gone to bed and not gone downstairs, there's no doubt my house would have been on fire. And I had 2 smoke detectors, not one in the back there where I should have. So the lesson I want to tell people is to have a plan for your family on those spring forward, fall back days. And also what I don't have that I'm getting is a fire extinguisher. And there's all kinds of fire extinguishers out there. A couple of a website and a phone number a great fire department has. It's omaha-fire.org. If you go to that website, there's great information on smoke detectors, how you can get free smoke detectors for people that are elderly or that can't afford them. It's a great website, and also you can call the Public Education Office at 402-444-3560. So I just, in a public service announcement, to have a plan and get a smoke detector, make sure your smoke alarms are working, and check on neighbors and family members, because if you don't have that, you're putting yourself and your family at risk, and also the brave men and women of the fire department that, as I gave an example, they responded, and I want to thank them. I always give those guys a hard time. They hit their horn when they go by my house at 2 a.m. sometimes. But I saw their dedication and their professionalism. I stood back and watched, and I was in awe of how great they are. So I hope somebody at least takes that with them today to help out a family member, and always check your smoke detectors. Thank you.
An affidavit of publication is on file, and a current copy of the Open Meeting Act is posted in a white binder on the east wall of legislative chambers.
Good afternoon and welcome to the meeting of the Omaha City Council. As a courtesy to those in attendance and to facilitate the conduct of our business, we ask that you please silence or turn off all electronic devices. A reminder, you will have 3 minutes to speak on an agenda item. Please stay on topic. If you would like your comments entered into the public record, you can email the city clerk's office at cityclerk@cityofomaha.org. The council members receive these emails and we read them. Finally, council members, we ask that we pull our microphones up. Everybody's been doing that. That's great. So those in the public can hear us speaking. Also, if you come down to the microphone, do the same. Have that microphone in front of you so people in home can hear us and the audience can as well.
Item 6, to consider a Class C liquor license for Sip and Spice located at 6610 South 168th Street, Suite 10.
Public hearing is now open on item number 6. Is the applicant here today on Zoom?
Yes, I'm here. Hi, everybody. My name is Mulay Shi. I'm the co-owner of Sip and Spice, speaking on the liquor license.
Can we get your address as well, please?
Yes, 6610 South 168th Street, Suite number 10, Omaha, Nebraska 68135.
Thank you. Is there any proponents here today on item number 6? Seeing none, are there any opponents? Public hearing is closed. Got a motion and a second. Roll call.
Melton. Rowe. Festerson. Goodwin. Harding. Hug. Mr. President.
Aye.
Motion passed 7-0. Item 7, a resolution to approve the preliminary plat for Indian Creek Village located southeast of 192nd and Fort Streets. Planning Board and Planning Department recommend approval.
I'll open a public hearing on item number 7. Is the applicant here today? Oh, sorry. Is the applicant here? There he is, sorry. Thought he was on Zoom. Only one on Zoom? Yeah.
Well, I'm Joe Foley with Foley Schuld Engineering, 3930 South 147th Street, here on behalf of the applicant. Really just here for questions. We think it's a pretty good fit for this site, 63 lot, single family residential, and I'd just be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Thank you. Yep. Is there any proponents here on item number 7? Seeing none, are there any opponents? Public hearing is closed. Motion is second. Roll call.
Melton. Rowe. Festerson. Goodwin. Harding. Hug. Mr. President.
Aye.
Motion passed 7-0. Item 8, a resolution to approve the preliminary plat for Orchard Hill, replat 18, located west of 40th and Franklin Streets. Planning Board and Planning Department recommend approval.
I'll open the public hearing on items 9 through 11. 8, okay. Okay, I'm totally missing it. Okay, item 8. Open public hearing on item number 8. Proponent, applicant.
Good afternoon. Randy Kushak with Lamper Nearson, 14710 West Dodge Road, Omaha, Nebraska. Here on behalf of the applicant, Holy Name Housing Corporation, here to answer any questions you may have today.
Thank you. Are there any proponents here today on item number 8? 8, right? Seeing none, are there any opponents? Public hearing is closed. Roll call.
Melton. Rowe. Festerson. Goodwin. Harding. Hug. Mr. President.
Aye.
Motion passed 7-0. Items 9 through 11 can be considered together for MH Landing, replat 3, located northeast of 70th and Grover Streets. Planning Board and Planning Department recommend approval. Items 9 and 10 are resolutions to approve the preliminary plat and final plat. Item 11, a resolution to approve the subdivision agreement.
Public hearing is now open for items 9 through 11. Is the applicant here? Good afternoon.
Yes, thank you. My name is Becca Hall. I'm with Lamprey Nearson. My address is 14710 West Dodge Road, and I'm here on behalf of the applicant, and I'd be happy to answer any questions you have.
Thank you. Is there any proponents here for items 9 through 11? Seeing none, are there any opponents? Public hearing is closed. Second. Motion is second. Roll call.
Melton. Rowe. Festerson. Goodwin. Harding. Hug. Mr. President.
Aye.
Motion passed 7-0. Items 12 through 15 can be considered together for Old Town Village, replat 1, located north of 14th and William Streets. Planning Board and Planning Department recommend approval. Item 12, an ordinance to rezone this property from GI District to MBD District. Items 13 and 14, resolutions to approve the preliminary plat and final plat. Item 15, a resolution to approve the subdivision agreement.
Public hearing is now open for items 12 through 15. Mr. McClay, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Tom McClay, 1323 South 12th Street. Here, Clary Development Company, on behalf of Clary Development Company, the developer of these projects. There is a number, as you might see, there's a number of different agenda items. They're all a bit interrelated as part of this project. Just lift this up, right? Yeah. You might recall. Oops, sorry. Is it going to come up there?
Okay, there you go, Tom.
Okay. We were in front of you a couple of months ago in regards to these projects, Little Bow Village, Little Bow Historic Tax Credits, as we've referred to them. It is on a series of different parcels. We worked really hard on this project to interweave this development into the neighborhood, retaining the historic buildings by using state and federal historic tax credits to do so, and to put new construction in and out, kind of, so to speak, in a smaller scale. 3 stories, 2 stories sometimes. We do get to almost 5 stories on the podium building, which has the parking garage underneath it. This is an angle from 13th and William Street. You'll see as we go along, I assume we'll get called as we proceed here into multiple plats. They're all really effectively the same project. This is 13th and William view. This is then the 14th and William view. As you'll see, this is the Old Town Village plat. This would be the Zlatohusa plat. Zlatohusa is Golden Goose in Czech. That was the restaurant that was here that we are using historic tax credits to bring back, along with the donut stop on 14th Street and these 2 buildings, which date from the 1880s. We've retained, there's 4 houses as well here that are dating from the 1890s to 1905 that we're going to retain to try to continue to have a little bit of that history that's part of the neighborhood. We have 154 units of new construction that we're looking to develop in the location. We are seeking TIF. I believe that's part of something that will be coming up here later, is the agreement for TIF. We have been in front of you previously on TIF already on the plan itself. Hopefully you all remember that. Happy to answer any questions or any details that might be discussed you'd want to have. We have had 4 months now of public hearings on this project dating back to early July. This is now our 6th public hearing, so we've really had an opportunity to get out, talk amongst the community, hear a lot of folks' comments. Mr. Begley came to one of the Business Improvement District Board meetings, as well as representatives from the Planning Board and the Public Works Department. So one of the things that I did want to talk a little bit about, I think it's neglected oftentimes. I come up and stand and speak with you, probably too long, more often than not, but I am just the tip of the iceberg of the folks that work on a project like this to make it happen for Omaha. It is a private side, it's a public side, and I don't think they always get enough credit. It seems as if it's just kind of me standing up here. Here with me, Zach Scott from TD Squared, our civil engineers. Matt Smith, who, along with Bruce Yoder, our 1x2 architects. Zach Bowman, we have multiple Zachs. Zach Bowman, who's our CFO of Clarity Development Company. Sydney Shinos, who runs our property management department, who I think you did hear from on our last hearing. And this is just this is the small team, SEAL Team 6, if you will, in this project. In addition to Zach here, I wrote some of these down just to try and give you an idea of how many people get involved, figuring out what's the best use of this project, how to make it the strongest and the best for Omaha. Joe Deflis and Kif Squire at TD Squared, the whole ETI team, Justin Vike is the leader there. This is not even getting into all of the construction folks that will be on this project, which will actually probably end up being in the hundreds between carpenters, plumbers, masons, electricians, drywallers, pipe fitters. It goes on and on with the number of folks that will be a part of this project on the private side. In addition, the creation of this, that we have a number of venues that will be bar and restaurant venues. You have wait staff, you have back of house, the folks in the culinary department. We'll have additional property managers. There is another wave of folks that have to be involved to make this operational and functional to have our community flourish, really. In addition to all that, then we have the public side that has to weigh in, work with. The Public Works Department, headed up by Mr. Stubbe. I've already seen on this project Brian Lotus, Austin Rouser, Ryan Haas, Jeff Rieselman, all of who have looked, evaluated, given input, refined, changed this project on the public sector side. And I'm planning, led by Mr. Fanslaw, of course, here. Also, Eric England, Mike Carter, Jed Moulton, Tim Freeze, the economic development piece of it, Bridget Hadley, Don Seaton, who might be here to get some credit, Jacqueline Morrison, who I did see here, who's been wonderful to work with. And even then, I know there's people behind them that are working on this with them to make it happen, to bring our city something special, something unique. And they doesn't get enough attention. You hear me blather on for a while, and then we move on, and they work outside the spotlight, so to speak. So I think that was important, and I hope you all agree it was a worthwhile little tangent there, so to speak. The project itself, as I indicated, is really made a very concerted effort. Matt and Bruce and myself and our civil engineers, our structural engineers, it's down to the inches with this project because it is in a historic location. We didn't want to disturb the integrity of all those historic buildings throughout this project. So we got down into that type of granular, but I think that is what it takes to make it really happen. Have received a ton of support from folks in the neighborhood since we've started talking about this. Here's a series of quotes that I've been given here recently. You might need to zoom out. I don't know if I can do that myself or right here? Well, we get there. The excitement that I've seen on this project might be more than any project I've ever worked on. And I believe it's because it has the ability to transform Omaha's front door. It has the ability to transform a neighborhood that has seen a lot of disinvestment over many decades. The neighborhood has suffered through lots of self-storage, lots of scrap yards, lots of things that are not helping it. Its high point in the 1950s was a dense commercial district. Almost the entire area that we're talking about was residential, was commercial spaces. 13th and William was the epicenter of Little Bohemia. That was all part of this neighborhood that made it so great. And then things changed. Into the 70s and the 80s, there was a real exodus in the exterior to the exterior suburbs, which led to that kind of great disinvestment. This project, I believe, has that opportunity to finally change that course and that trajectory of Little Bohemia to be what it can be, something really special. There are, of course, a few naysayers. That always happens. They do appear. The naysayers, I think, in this instance, have taken a tact of, I always say that those folks who are anti-development, and honestly the folks that we've seen here have been anti-development on every single project, their best friend is red tape. More studies, more this, more that, paralysis by analysis. Keep dragging it. We can't do this. Well, we have to do this. We have to do that. And the hope is you just tire, you fatigue. The project dies from time, from that paralysis that sets in with just chronic going over and over. That is what we've seen. We really hope and appreciate we can get the City Council's support. We've appreciated the recommendation from the City Planning Department for this project, for this rezoning and this replatting, and as well as the TIF agreement, which of course we've already had the plan before you. So that is now the agreement itself. Happy to answer any questions. Our civil engineers, our architects are here as well to answer any questions that you may all have. Again, really appreciate the support. And one of the things too is the city, to make a project like this happen, you have to go back about 10 years or so, 20 maybe on the public side. As you all here on the City Council know, we have a future land use plan that our planning department put tens of thousands of hours, man hours, to put together that future land use plan, which then dictates how we anticipate seeing our city grow. What are the right uses? What are the right locations? This project, the front door of Omaha, the doorstep of downtown, this is in that future land use plan indicated for this use, for this type of density, and I believe they're wholeheartedly correct. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any proponents here on items 12 through 15? Come on down.
I better mention my wife is here as well. Sorry, I'd be in big trouble.
Good afternoon. I am Caroline McBride, 1222 South 12th Street. My company is Rebel Interactive on South 13th Street, as well as Chicks in Charge Commercial Real Estate, where I hold a number of buildings on 13th Street. I'm here today in support of this project. In the over 20 years that we've been downtown and operating successfully, we've been waiting for this type of project to come along, and we're very excited about it. I'm also the vice president of the BID, and throughout this whole process, what's become clear to me is the need for continued dialogue on both sides of the aisle in Little Bohemia on all issues. As more development continues to come into 13th Street as a result of this project, I think it's really important for us to come together, agree to disagree, and work with the City Council and our officials on getting rules and regs changed that we think fit our neighborhood. Little Bohemia isn't necessarily a one-size-fits-all neighborhood, and I think it's very special as well, and I think it deserves a lot of extra attention. So again, this is not a BID board endorsement. I'm endorsing as an individual, but as a BID member, I know this fits the neighborhood and suits it well. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other proponents here today? Seeing none, are there any opponents? Donnie, please shut your phone off for us. Thanks. Thanks.
Good afternoon, members of the council. Thank you for the opportunity to present today. My name is Dave Hempel, 1255 South 13th Street. I'm here to discuss how the recent developments have impacted parking and how the newly proposed development will worsen the situation. I am hoping for the sake of the neighborhood, the city, and the developer we can find some solutions. Little Bohemia is experiencing significant growth and change, and I want to applaud Tom and his team because they have done a great job. With the new businesses, residential developments, and an increasing population, it's essential to ensure the parking and safety is taken into consideration. I propose that the council prioritize the idea of doing a more comprehensive study prior to approving the requested zoning changes and using the already approved walkability study in conjunction with the parking analysis to accomplish this. I've handed all of you out a packet with substantial detailed information that requires careful consideration. Contents include pictures, a parking study, a petition, a parking analysis extract from the 2018 walkability study, a letter from someone from the BID, and a letter from Pulverine Monument Company who couldn't be here today. First, there are pics. This is a picture showing 14th Street where this development was going to happen, looking north on a Sunday morning, or Sunday from between 12 and 12:30 these pictures were taken. All parking spots are full. This is looking south on 14th Street from the Dog Park Bar. All parking spots are full. This is where this new development's going to be. This is the entrance to the warehouse of Chicago Lumber, where trucks are coming out in and out every day with product. This is 12th and William Street, looking south from Briggs. You can see that all the parking spots are full. This is the parking lot adjacent to where I took that picture, which is Little Bow Bungalow parking, which is empty because of due to the costs, is what we're hearing. The next item is a parking study, which I did myself. I used Google Earth and walked the area counting houses and parking places, both on and off street. I used the national averages of number of vehicles for houses, apartments, and commercial spaces. You can see the current situation with the recent development. We're 98 spaces short. And with the new proposed development, we will be 313 spaces. I didn't take into consideration all the people that Tom brought up today that will be working down there. I have a petition signed by over 50 residents, property owners, and business owners combined, asking for a comprehensive study evaluating the new
Dave,
developments.
your 3 minutes is up, Dave.
Okay.
Thank you. Thanks for being here today, and thanks for the information you gave us. Are there any other opponents?
Good afternoon, Omaha City Council, Donnie R. Johnson, the Johnson Equestrian Foundation, and North Omaha Concerned Citizen Foundation, 4928 North 52nd Street. I would like to take this opportunity to say we all have benefited from the Bohemian Cafe going back to the 1960s in Little Italy. I think it's a wonderful project. I just want to make sure that the state called me the other day and saying the electrical car system is not getting consideration. So we'll put electrical outlets for their electrical cars, and the future generation of the Bohemians, they'll have a place to park their beautiful cars.
Thank you. Are there any other opponents here today? Items 12 through 15.
Good afternoon. My name is Sean Coulterman at 1446 South 13th Street. Thanks, Council. In collaboration with the Little Bohemia BID, with neighboring businesses and residents of Little Bohemia, I am here to support a recent request by a member of the Little Bohemia BID board for a parking study to be conducted before rezoning of a very nicely designed series of projects by Clarity Development is approved. As context for this issue, my office sits adjacent to Boho Flats, which is a recently constructed multifamily apartment building that has commercial space on the main level. And for this project, at City Planning and at City Council, parking issues were brought up. Parking versus occupancy is a big delta. So 59 residents, 24 spots. Parking was presented as actually increasing at the building perimeter, but our company has lost 5 street parking spots on Pine due to no parking signs, and a pedestrian node swallowed 2 more of the spots on 13th Street. So the net change in street parking is actually -7. Now cars have been towed from Pine Street, parking wherever they can despite the no parking signs. And 2 individuals recently gave our masonry company that had absolutely nothing to do with their cars being towed 1-star Google reviews because they wrongfully thought that was us. So these are little things that we foresaw and tried to troubleshoot at planning and at City Council. And I believe these are little things that proper planning could have prevented, but they weren't. And now my staff has to deal with the outcome on a daily basis. Mr. McClay mentioned earlier a sizable team of professionals that have worked on his projects already. Why does so much disinterest or perhaps even resistance exist with the appropriate planning for parking? And to illustrate that, amongst the Little Bo bungalows and flats that's proposed, Little Bohemia Village rather that's proposed, Boho Flats, there are approximately 546 either units or projected employees and customers that could be at that space at any given time. 546 versus parking spaces that are being created for those buildings of 119. So that leaves a shortage at any given time of 430 parking spaces. Is that sustainable without planning? Does that sound like it's been carefully planned is the question that I ask. I would just submit no, and the request to have a parking study to help solve some of those problems before the damage occurs like it has in Blackstone and other places where a parking structure have had to be built after the fact, after business have closed down.
Sean, your 3 minutes is up. Thanks.
We do that
Thanks,
now.
Mr. Coulterman.
Thank
you. Are there any other opponents here on items 12 through 15? Ms. Bluvis, good afternoon. Welcome.
Good afternoon. I don't know if I'm really an opponent, but I have some questions and comments. Karen Bluvis, 824 Worthington Street, and I live in the Dolman area, which encompasses this. I'd like to also add that all 4 of my grandparents grew up in Little Bohemia, so I know the area very, very well. I have friends who like to come down and would like to join more of the things happening on South 13th Street, but they tell me they can't find parking, so they don't come. Is this going to be another one of the activities like that happens in Blackstone and whatever, where businesses will go out of business because people can't get to them? I hope not. I hope we can take care of that. Are we going to make our businesses and new residents discouraged because of parking? I ask you, as others have before me, to postpone this vote until a walkability, parking analysis, or whatever can be completed so we can make this project successful. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other opponents here?
Terry White, 1951 South 11th Street, Omaha, Nebraska, 68108. I was thinking about some other neighborhoods and how they thrived Vinton Street, on Vinton Street, two big buildings on Vinton Street between 16th and 18th were moved, and houses behind those commercial businesses were moved, and that created a lot of parking, and that's why they thrived. In South Omaha, N Street, between 24th and 25th, a large area was removed, and that created parking there. And between 24th and 25th, on 25th, half that block was removed, and that created parking. What we're doing here is putting in apartment buildings when we should be thinking about parking first for the existing businesses and then development that's going to need some of that parking. And you were at the, he mentioned a meeting of the BID for the neighborhood. Most of those people there had negative comments about the development plans, especially about parking.
Thank you. Thank you. Are there any other opponents here? Items 12 through 15.
Larry Storr, 5015 Lafayette Avenue, Omaha 68132. I'm against this public hearing and vote because I really don't think we need to waste the time. It's already decided, so why spend the time doing this and the taxpayers' dollars? But I remember going back a ways when this all started. I believe this gentleman said 5 or 6 hearings ago. Well, very few citizens know that there's that many hearings. And very few citizens know that it's cut and dried before it gets here. All we're doing today is waiting for the signature by the mayor. That's the truth of the matter. But this is also about changing culture. We used to talk about Little Bohemia. Now, I'm not off topic. Some of the other people were slightly off topic, so don't call me out of order. It's not Little Italy, as Donna called it. It's Little Bohemia. This ordinance, the way it's written, does away with that language. The unnecessary number of additional parking lot spots is also destroying that culture and the retail and the people's enjoyment of their own neighborhood. And I'm seeing this happen in Dundee. You're a block away from my street now. Multiple people in small houses bring many different cars, and they plug up the narrow streets in Dundee. It's happening all over the city. This is part of your mobility plan, so people will have to ride the bus someday, but they don't. Somebody have to ride the bicycle someday, but they don't. But let's keep narrowing the streets down more with more streetcar projects and stuff. And we can't build big garages all over the city like you're forcing them to do in Blackstone. Where are you going to build big parking garages down in Little Bow? It is Little Bow. It's not Little Italy, and it's not Old Town. So let's stop changing the culture of Omaha. We hired you to preserve it. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other opponents here today on items 12 through 15? Ms. Kelly on Zoom, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Yeah.
Can we get your, I give your name and address, please, and the floor is yours.
Yep. My name is Grace Kelly, and I'm a current resident of 3308 North 53rd Street in Benson. And up until July, I lived on South 10th Street, across from the Cabrini Church in the historic Cornish apartments. In the few short months that I've lived away from Little Bohemia, I've already witnessed changes that worry me about its future and so-called development. I'm a statistician by training, so in the lead up to this meeting, I did some number crunching. I recorded the rent and square footage of 26 available units on McClay's current Omaha apartment properties. The average rent of these properties was $13.50 with an average square foot of $6.90. According to a September 2025 market report by Apartment Advisor, the median rent in Omaha is $9.25 and square footage is $8.26. Omaha ranks as the 74th least expensive American city. However, the prices at McClay's apartments are much higher, comparable to more expensive cities like Portland, New Orleans, Denver, and Fresno, California. They are also approximately $300 more expensive than the Omaha median and have less square footage. I also couldn't help but notice that many of McClay's apartment listings have bonus incentives such as months of free rent and reduced moving costs, which lead me to believe that the vacancy rates at these properties are high. Last year, I attended many We Make Omaha strategic planning sessions. Not once in those meetings did I hear someone from the Little Bohemia neighborhood say, "We need to overpopulate this area, take away parking, and build 150 more expensive apartments." Instead, some themes from this analysis were affordability and choice, beauty and vibrancy, including historic architecture, vibrant green spaces and cultural identity, and connectivity and accessibility. As many have mentioned, taking away parking with this plan, making people rely on Ubers and transit to get to the area, we lose accessibility and lessen connectivity. By adding expensive apartments, we lose affordability and lessen choice as other nearby apartments rise in price. By overcrowding the neighborhood, potentially adding in national chains and a pickleball court, we scrub Little Bohemia of its historic and cultural identity. I loved living in Little Bohemia. I am not fully a naysayer on development, and I loved seeing the area revitalized as new small businesses like Masaluna, Platypus, and Pop Fiction have been incrementally added. However, the extensive plan as it stands is not for the development of the Little Bohemia neighborhood. In my opinion, it primarily enhances developer profits rather than truly revitalizing this historic enclave. I implore the council to think about who benefits from this plan and how we want to shape the future of our city. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other opponents? Anybody else on Zoom? Okay. Any other opponents on 12 through 15? Public hearing is closed. I'll just a couple questions, Mr. McClay, if you can. I know you had several meetings, and I attended the one you mentioned. I know there was concerns about parking, and those are always challenges with developments. What's your response just on the parking in general for the area, all the development that's going on?
As I mentioned last meeting, I office there every day. There are hundreds of parking spots that I stare at every day. Those pictures that were displayed were, I think the right phrase would be cherry-picked for specific times, specific moments that you have some parking on a specific street. Oftentimes the picture, for instance, on 12th Street, that's the corner that I'm at where that picture was taken. There is never any parking to the south. There is abundant parking to the south of that picture. If it simply would have been turned around, it would have occurred. A one-time occurrence on a Sunday morning of a picture, it's this perception that seems to be perpetuated by the opponents of the project that have opposed every project down there. There does not seem to be a desire for improvement in the neighborhood for that group. That group also opposed the very creation of the Business Improvement District, which all of you who are here were on the city council then. So that idea and perception of parking being an issue is just that. It is a perception. You all have seen a lot of developments we've done through the years. The parking, and not just myself, other developers, and I think we've got a really strong group of developers in Omaha, particularly in the urban core, creating a more vibrant place, working with our planning department hand in hand, the public works department that we evaluate. They indicate what it is that makes sense, where the right density is, where the parking is located. Of course, this parking does have an entire ground floor level of garage parking. That's part of it. That density is needed. That density and the parking used on, and let's keep in mind, this is parking on public streets. I mean, this is open to the public. Any road we drive on is a public road. These are public streets. One of the gentlemen had mentioned Dundee. I live in Mr. Festerson's district, District 1. I live within a block of downtown Dundee. And there are very frequently people who park in front of my house, park in front of my street, because it is a public street, and that is where they park. That ability to use parking across things, most parking is used maximum of 8 hours a day. There's 24 hours in a day, as we all know. The parking garages, when we built them, which was unbeknownst to me, working with the parking department in the city of Omaha, it's the flow of parking is the most important thing you can establish. Because of that, it's only sitting there for 8 hours. If we continue to say, well, we're going to build a parking spot to park for 8 hours and another parking spot to park for 8 hours and another parking spot, we end up with 3 times the number of parking spots. A whole lot of concrete, a whole lot of nothing, and wildly inefficient. A number of studies have been done, and I presented at the last TIF hearing, that indicate the biggest enemy of affordable housing is the parking requirements that are still out there in some locations. But I will applaud our planning department for being at the forefront of this analysis and understanding. Mr. England, who works for Mr. Fanslaw, had said at the BID meeting, we are over 1 billion parking spots in the United States. It has to end. We have to create efficiencies, and those efficiencies are created through public-private partnerships, oftentimes where that one parking spot gets used 3 times, not just once. It's just common sense at that point. I think I can go on and on about this issue, and I apologize if I've already gone on too long, but at the fundamental issue is to look at efficient use of parking, not just look at it as this myopic, we're going to build, what's the phrase? We're going to build a church for, you don't build a church for Christmas and Easter. That is partially at the root of this. There's always going to be a moment where parking is in demand. That's not how you build parking. It's wasteful.
Thank you. Councilman Hug, you're recognized.
Good afternoon. And just for the record, that's not your daughter?
Well played, Councilman.
Have you seen the picture of packets that was distributed to us?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Well, I saw it here as it was presented. I had not
Okay.
seen it before.
I just got a couple of questions about it, just for clarity. But there's 2 pictures of the same parking lot at Little Bow Bungalows, and it says not utilized due to cost. I mean, the parking lot does look empty.
If you're going to be asked about pictures, you should probably have them.
Thank you, Councilman Melton. I'm going to
Can you pull the microphone towards you there? Thanks.
Sure. Councilman, the great part, Sydney Shinos, who runs our property management department, I think would be a great one to answer this. Sydney?
Sydney Shinas, 1323 South 12th Street. That lot is fully leased. There's 13 spots. They're all leased and they're all being paid for.
And, okay, they're leased to,
Residents.
so the residents lease the parking spots.
Yep,
And there's how many parking stalls in there?
13.
13, okay.
That picture was, I think I described, cherry-picked. Our residents work. They work at Offutt, they work at the zoo, they work downtown, they might work in West Omaha. They are gone during the day because they're out working. That was likely, it looks to be daylight in that picture, was likely a weekday in which that parking occurred, that picture occurred.
Well, looking from the shadow, I would say it was probably afternoon, but that's just a guess. I do have a question for Mr. Hempel, Mr. President, if I may. Would that be permissible? Yeah. Would you mind?
Of course.
Morning, Mr. Hempel.
Hi, Councilman Hug. How are you?
You know that I'm familiar with this neighborhood probably as much as anybody.
Yes, you are. By the way, those pictures were taken July 6th, Sunday at noon.
Okay. All the pictures?
All the pictures.
Okay, so noon.
They're not cherry-picked.
Noon on Sunday. Okay,
Right.
well, thanks for that clarification.
You're welcome.
That's all I really had for you. I just want,
Also, this no pay is coming from the people across the street. You saw it on the news last week from one of the neighboring houses that use pylons.
Dave, you got to stay on the question that he asked you.
Okay.
Okay.
You got another
thanks.
question, Ron?
No, I just wanted to clarify that because I was looking at the shadows in the pictures and the directions trying to determine I mean, it did look to me like, other than the parking lot picture, I would say looked to me like it may have been afternoon, but the rest of them looked like, based on the shadows, to be taken in the morning.
No, I have documentation of when those
Okay.
are taken as well, if you need it.
Okay. I just wanted that for clarification.
Any other questions you folks have, please ask.
Thank you,
Mr. Hempel,
Hempel.
thanks.
We're here to collaborate.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate that. Any other questions, Councilman Hug?
Tom, would you come back up? And we have talked about this before, but in all frankness and honesty, you are not the genesis of the redevelopment of Little Bohemia. That distinction goes to Donald Prohaska.
Rest
And
in
Donald
peace.
Prohaska, I believe, was the true genesis of this, the redevelopment of the hotel at 13th and William Street, which still stands today as a testament to his vision, which I believe, again, was the genesis of this whole redevelopment of an area that, goes back 5 generations in my family. So just for the record, you know how I am. You know how I feel about it.
I had the privilege of working with Don many years ago before his passing, and he was a great man, and I agree. I think he started it, and hopefully those of us who are picking up the torch can do him proud.
Thank you. I'm done, Mr. President.
Thanks, Councilman Hug. Council Member Goodwin, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. This question is for, I believe it would be the Planning Department about the 2018 walkability study. But first, Mr. Hempel, I wanted to just acknowledge that I appreciate this information and the work that you put into it. It shows that you care about your neighborhood and care about making sure that we have the proper information for decision making. Mr. Fanslaw. So this is a 2018 walkability study. It's 2025. How long are these studies usually considered relevant?
Okay. Dave Fanslaw, City Planning. I don't think there's any one specific time frame I can put on a walkability study, although I do believe that a new one is being commissioned. So to update that 2018 plan. 2018, we had just started experiencing maybe a few years before that, kind of a rebirth of the area. A lot of the property along 13th Street was zoned GI. We started seeing requests, and we were able to support some requests to rezone that property to NBD, Neighborhood Business District. As you know, 13th Street has on-street parking. It's within a commercial node in our current master plan. It encourages commercial businesses to be located. I think if you look up and down 13th Street 10 years ago, a lot of the commercial businesses were in that GI zone property, which is probably inappropriate. So again, a number of years ago, we started entertaining requests to rezone it to NBD. It seemed like a good time in 2018 to commission that walkability study, and I believe an update of that is happening currently.
Thank you for that. So I just would like a little more clarity. I see here the at least page 20 that's provided in this packet by Mr. Hempel, but then I see a response from the mayor's office is about the request for a walkability study. It does not include parking analysis, although the page 20 of the 2018 walkability study does. So I just want to understand, like, the reason, if just from, I think maybe it would help us all to understand why a walkability study is not included in this new study that's being provided.
Okay, so I'll try there. I don't have the information that you have in front of you, so, and it's, well, I'm going to sit here and read it if you'd like me to do that. So I probably won't have time to read this. So what your question is, why not the parking study?
Right, because it was included in the 2018 study,
Yeah, well,
walkability plan
okay.
study.
Again, 2018, we're in 2025, 7 years later. During the entertainment and the conversations around this project and other projects that have come our way in that amount of time, again, some of those properties changing over from GI to NBD, although the 2018 walkability plan mentioned a parking study, it is our true belief that it's just not required as part of this development plan. We haven't required it in other development plans along 13th Street. Again, this is the mixed-use boundary in that area isn't just focused on 13th Street. It bleeds to the east, it bleeds to the west. We don't think it rises to the level of an entire parking study for the area at this time. And again, I didn't read up on the 18 study, and I surely didn't read the emails that you received with it.
No, and I can appreciate that. Perhaps there's more clarity that can be brought later, because there does seem just to be a difference between the information provided in the walkability study in 2018 versus the analysis that's provided in the new plan. And I'm wanting just to learn, not really, and just to understand where that gap lies.
Yeah, so, I mean, we can talk offline.
Sure.
We can talk about it much more if you want in the future.
Thank you.
Sure.
Thanks, Councilmember Goodwin. One quick question for Director Stubbe, please.
Bob Stubbe, Public Works.
Bob, we had a walkability study that the council voted on, if I recall correctly, this past summer, correct?
Yeah, that's correct. As Mr. Fanslow indicated, the study was done back in 2018 because of the change with regard to kind of the addition of apartments in the area. Also, we're looking at traffic flows for 2050 versus 2040. So that's part of the reason for the study. It will take place starting fall of this year. There'll be a public engagement late winter, and they should have a report coming out in the spring of 26. It's just not looking at walkability, it's looking at traffic, multimodal safety, bicycle and pedestrian amenities, and also transit interaction in the corridor.
Okay, thanks, Mr. Stubbe. Councilman Festerson, you're recognized.
Thanks, Mr. President. I'm supportive of this item today. I do think it's revitalizing one of our great historic business districts in the city. I think most testifiers today are trying to achieve that same thing, just trying to find the best balance between its future and its great history. And I think that's also what the Business Improvement District is trying to accomplish too, and I can see a great future for this part of our city. I did have some follow-up questions on the parking. I think that's the one issue that's really being identified today as an item of concern. But I think Mr. Bagley and Ms. Goodwin already asked my questions, and that Mr. McClay did a good job of answering the philosophy behind the planning department's analysis in this respect. So they answered the question for me for now, and I'll go ahead and move approval for items 12 through 16.
Second. Roll call.
Milton. Yes. Rowe. Yes. Festerson.
Yes.
Goodwin. Yes. Harding.
Yes.
Hug. Mr. President.
Aye.
Motion passed 7-0. Items 16 through 19 can be considered together for Zalata Huza plat located northwest of 13th and William Streets. Planning Board and Planning Department recommend approval. Item 16, an ordinance to rezone this property from GI District to MBD District. Item 17 and 18, resolutions to approve the preliminary plat and final plat. Item 19, a resolution to approve the subdivision agreement.
Public hearing is now open on items 16 through 19. Calling for proponents, the applicant here today.
Tom McClay, 1323 South 12th Street. I feel like I was just here.
Yes.
This is, as I indicated before, because we didn't just scrape everything, and one of the things I should have mentioned, the easiest thing for any developer to do would be to scrape every building on this site and build new. That would also be the most profitable for any developer to do. We chose not to do that. We chose to save the various elements that I had talked about previously from the Zlatohusa, which is where the Golden Goose, which is the name of this plat, which encompasses these parcels, to then the Donut Stop, which is located here, the old Donut Stop, actually the home of the Bohemian Cafe originally back in the 1950s. Additionally, these 1880s buildings, we refer to them very creatively as 1880s buildings, and these additional 4 homes that we're retaining. So because of that, we couldn't just do one big plat. We are in a series of 4 plats. So in addition to the Zlatohusa plat, which is in Czech, there's also the Greco plat. The Greco refers to the Greco family grocery store. They were at 12th and William for many decades. I have one little picture of it from the 1950s that I've seen. Nino Greco, when this thing reached out when his mother, Grandma Greco, I think, passed away. And that was really the edge of Little Little Italy, right there at 11th. Greco's being an Italian family. That is one of the other plats that I believe is still to come here on the agenda. That is in this same kind of location. And really, I think all the discussion previously, I will say I'll ditto for this project, but I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Are there any proponents here on items 16 through 19? Seeing none, are there any opponents on 16 through 19?
Hi, Sean Coulterman, 1446 South 13th Street. I'm reading a letter I was asked to present. We find it ironic that we look to the planning department for advisement on zoning, but it doesn't allow any planning for parking. We need to work for a common goal, which is for different types of businesses to work in the same neighborhood. Mr. McClay has called the industrial owners opposed to development. This is not true. We rent our property to Lumen Brewing and Idle Wine Shop, and we want nothing more than for them to succeed and thrive. What we don't want is for incoming businesses and developments to alter our way of life so drastically that it makes it difficult for us to do our work. We have been on 13th Street since 1988 and have seen our share of changes too. Now, more than ever, there are businesses that have foot traffic. We constantly must call the Southeast Police District for people parking in front of our garage door. This hinders our schedule and our workload. We are afraid without proper planning, this issue will only be worse. An able-bodied younger person may not mind walking several blocks to their favorite bar or coffee shop. Many of our customers are elderly and struggle to find a parking spot close to our business. That creates a real challenge for them. Often they come in and want to be angry with us about my lack of parking options along the street. I tell them it's every person for themselves out there now. We think it seems unfair to business owner Leah Thrasher of the Dog Bar, who tried to get rezoned NBD but was denied 4 years ago, only to have Little Bow Village allowed this designation with ease. I have attended town hall meetings, city council meetings, and BID meetings waiting to hear solutions on parking and have yet to hear anything but cryptic answers like parking is like water. We like to hear real answers to where in the world everyone is going to park. Transparency seems to have put up a lot of barriers in the area that could have been softened by a little give and take by the developer in the parking department. All businesses, new and old, as well as residents, need to work together toward a common goal. Thank you for hearing our concerns. Pulverente Monument Company, Ryan and Kimberly Norton. Again, the numbers, almost a 430 person or parking spot difference in residents and employees brought with the new developments compared to parking spots being provided.
Thank you. Are there any other opponents here?
Good afternoon, Omaha City Council, Donnie R. Johnson, the Johnson Equestrian Foundation, and North Omaha Concerned Citizen Foundation. I want to share
Donnie,
something.
please, your address as well.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Mr. Begley, 4928 North 52nd, or excuse me, 4928 North 52nd. Got some other names in my head. In the meantime, I think there's some problems here, and I was going to ask if Mr. Harding and Mrs. Goodwin can straighten this out. And my generation, you can come into the school, and if you go on 30th Street, which is Mrs. Goodwin district, and Mr. Begley, and Mrs. Melton, who was at Concord, which will be my generation of parents or grandparents. But in New York, in Manhattan, every time I go to the Waldorf Astoria, there's no cabs or no parking anywhere. Everything is done by cabs. So Omaha is moving forward. If you get to Dodger on 42nd, that guy's complaining about historic landmark. Doesn't make any sense. So in the meantime, if it's a historic landmark, what about all the trees we removed? And that was historic, wasn't it? So let's go back, and they're on the right track. But this parking, Mr. Takechi and I, we worked on it back when he was in city council. And San Francisco, no parking. So forget that part. We might have to move forward towards Manhattan. You come in there with a cab, and you get out of there with a cab.
Thank you. Are there any other opponents on items 16 through 19? Seeing none, public hearing is closed. Got a motion and a second. No lights. Roll call.
Melton. Rowe. Festerson. Goodwin. Harding.
Yes.
Hug. Mr. President.
Aye.
Motion passed 7-0. Items 20 through 23 can be considered together for Greco plat located northeast of 12th and William Streets. Planning Board and Planning Department recommend approval. B is communication and opposition. Item 20, an ordinance to approve a PUR overlay district. Items 21 and 22, resolutions to approve the preliminary plat and final plat. Item 23, a resolution to approve the subdivision agreement.
Public hearing is now open on items number 20 through 23. Is the applicant here before I call for proponents? Mr. McClay?
Still me. I apologize. Tom McClay, 1323 South 12th Street. I think the best thing is a ditto, perhaps, on these as well. Happy to ask.
Thank you. Are there any proponents here today? Seeing none, are there any opponents?
Sean Coulterman, 1446 South 13th Street. Thank you, Council. When city planning passes the buck on unaddressed issues that are asked about parking, traffic, safety, City Council considers concerns previously expressed at city planning meetings, like parking, traffic, and safety, immaterial because planning already had approved the project at its level. Again, Ryan Norton brought it to my attention as a former City of Omaha traffic engineer that it seems common sense that someone from city's leadership should guide long-term planning because new properties affect the core environmental issues of parking, traffic, and safety. So rather than leaving it up to local residents and businesses to advocate for themselves with limited time, compared to the years of time acquiring properties and formulating plans a developer might have spent, hypothetically, with far fewer resources, most residents, businesses, or even business improvement districts don't operate with the capital leverage of developers, and with incomplete information that is all too often delivered at the 11th hour, despite the fact that this data was available months earlier. The process ends up being inequitable and clearly favors the developer. We knew coming here today was basically lip service and that the plans would be approved. It's opponents is the category under which I have to stand here and speak, even though I support the development. I just support somebody having common sense to take a minute to look at the real parking issues and how those impact safety. My family lives near and used to patronize businesses in Blackstone multiple times per week. 13th Street parking issues mirror the challenges we have gotten to know all too well on Farnham Street at Blackstone. Problems that have driven restaurants out of business, problems that have made many of us visit other places where it's not such a struggle to park. So we don't want that same thing to happen here in Little Bohemia. I want to repeat that. So city council and planning seem to be asking detailed neighborhood planning or city planning to take care of itself. That's how it appears, to find its way, all of its own accord, without wanting to invest the time and energy to do it carefully. And my question is just, is that the way you would landscape your own yard? Let water find its own way? Allow several trades to joust it out without any guidelines to control the outcome, and do it all without an overarching long-term collaborative plan? Instead, why don't we take a little bit more time on the front end to analyze, evaluate, and address the potential problems now, instead of waiting until after the damage is done? So, for future developers that are coming here, wouldn't it make sense to have a plan that they could clearly understand so that this kind of conflict doesn't have to happen? We wish Clarity Development the best success with the projects that you guys are approving.
Thank you.
And we look forward to that improvement in the neighborhood.
Thank you. Thank you. Are there any other opponents? Seeing none, public hearing is closed. Roll call.
Melton. Rowe. Festerson. Goodwin. Harding.
Yes.
Hug. Mr. President.
Aye.
Motion passed 7-0. Item 24, an ordinance to rezone property located southeast of 42nd Avenue and Weiss Street from R435 District to R5 District. Planning Board and Planning Department recommend approval.
I will now open the public hearing on item number 24. Before I call for proponents, is the applicant here today? Do we know? Is the applicant here for item number 24? Are there any proponents on item 24? Seeing none, are there any opponents?
Good afternoon, Omaha City Council, Donnie R. Johnson, the Johnson E. Christian Foundation, and North Omaha Concerned Citizen Foundation. 4928 North 52nd Street. And I think they may have misunderstood what I was trying to say. Back in the 60s, in my generation, Senator Chambers came to our school all the time. In the meantime, at Concord, on 168?
Donnie, we need to stay on the topic of the property located on 42nd and Y Street.
Yeah, that property in South Omaha, right? But if Mrs. Goodwin and Mr. Harding, we could cross over each other and communicate, I think it would be good. Because if they get out to 168, go down on 30th names the first of the month.
Oh, Donnie, you're getting off topic.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay, thank you. Is there any other opponents here? Item number 24. Public hearing is closed. Motion and a second. Roll call.
Melton. Rowe. Festerson. Goodwin. Harding.
Yes.
Hug. Mr. President.
Aye.
Motion passed 7-0. Item 25, an ordinance to rezone property located at 5835 and 5839 North 28th Avenue from R435 District to R4 District. Planning Board and Planning Department recommend approval.
I will open the public hearing on item number 25. Is the applicant here before I call for proponents? Are there any proponents here on item 25? Seeing none, are there any opponents? Public hearing is closed. Motion a second. Roll call.
Melton. Rowe. Festerson. Goodwin. Harding. Hug. Mr. President.
Aye.
Motion passed 7-0. Item 26, an ordinance to approve a PUR overlay district located at 3115 Pacific Street. Planning Board and Planning Department recommend approval.
I'll open the public hearing on item number 26. Is the applicant here? Good afternoon. Hope you enjoyed those Olson's Donuts this morning that you were getting that I saw you sneaking in.
They didn't last long, I'll tell you.
Me neither.
There's some leftovers up here. Dan Dolezal, Earhart Griffin Associates, 3552 Farnham. I'll be brief. Urban Village has a series of cases coming up, all of them. Urban Village, as you know, is a very reputable, probably one of the finest developers in town. They specialize in these redevelopment projects. We have in this particular case, we have 20 units over a 19 car parking garage at 31st and Pacific. I'm here with Laura Tarpinian,
who is the owner's representative. She's here to answer questions as well as myself if you have any. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any proponents here today? Item 26. Seeing none, are there any opponents? Any opponents on item 26? Public hearing is closed. I got a couple questions, Laura or one of you, if you could, please. How long is this? It's on the corner there, 32nd Pacific. How long has that been just grass and empty lot for? Do you know?
I think it's been at Laura Tarpena, 9140 West Dodge Road, Suite 285. I want to say it's been at least 13 years. I know we've owned it for at least 10 years. And I do believe there was a previous multifamily structure there that was eventually demolished.
And if I recall correctly, it was due to a bad fire that happened there at the time. And Urban Village, you guys have invested and done development in that Leavenworth Neighborhood Association area off of Park Ave, south of Leavenworth. Is that fair to say?
That's definitely fair to say. So I've been a part of the Urban Village team for a little over 10 years. So I wasn't quite around for all of the Park Avenue redevelopment when it started back in 2008. But Scott Simrad and Jerry Reimer have been partners in Urban Village and have rehabbed or built ground up new construction, probably to the tune of 600 units down in the Midtown area core. And then since I've been there in the last 10 years, we've probably done at least 100 to 200 units a year throughout the greater Omaha area.
Okay, and I appreciate I talked to Mr. Semrad prior to this hearing this week, and I talked to you as well. What kind of outreach did you have with the people in the neighborhood associations?
Yeah, we did do a neighborhood meeting. It was August 14th, and we had sent out notices it was 7 to 10 days prior to that meeting, and we did that down at Oak Investment on 31st and Leavenworth Street. We did all three properties within one meeting, and we had 5 to 6 attendees, I would say. Mostly curiosity about learning more about what our plans were. I would say there was general familiarity with Urban Village and what Urban Village has already done in the last decade plus down in the Midtown area. So I didn't hear from it any major items of concern, more interest in what we're doing. Awareness around the construction logistics was something we talked about. I am scheduled to go to the Leavenworth Neighborhood Association November 17th. It was going to be October, but they had a prior speaker scheduled, so I'll be presenting at the Leavenworth Neighborhood Association coming up soon.
I appreciate you doing that outreach, and I know in our prior items that we discussed here, parking is always an issue. I know we had a development a block or two away from here a couple of years ago when I was new to the council, and I know I learned in that development that I think didn't materialize. That was a challenge. On this one, if I'm seeing the information correctly, Laura, it's 20 units that you're going to have here, correct?
It's 20 units, that is correct. So it's the first story is parking of 19 stalls, and then 2 stories of apartments, 10 units a floor above that. So almost a 1-to-1 ratio there. Generally, we know there needs to be some amount of parking. I think Mr. McClay hit well on discussing the balance and how that can be a challenge between maximizing efficiency of parking and creating a vibrant, walkable, community-oriented neighborhood. So I can relate to that, and I think we're trying to be mindful of having as best of ratio as we can there.
Sure. And is there going to be any availability if I have a bike and I'm going to live there? Is there anywhere to put a bike?
Yeah, the planning staff comments did address that, and we are intending to have a bike rack included in the garage structure.
Okay. I appreciate you taking the time to talk to me, and I know there was a petition going around that people that love the area that were maybe not in favor of the development, and I appreciated hearing from the people in that petition, and I corresponded with several constituents. I am going to be supportive of this item today. And I do recognize the challenge with the parking, but also a question for Mr. Fanslaw, if I can.
Yep, Dave Fanslaw, City Planning.
Dave, as we work through each of these developments that come before the council, I know the mayor has got a great focus on affordable housing going forward. is it fair to say that one of the ways to address the affordable housing issues, there's many tools in the toolbox to do that. Is one of them, Dave, to get more density in the urban core to help with that?
It's almost like you heard me say that before. Yes, one of the ways we can address affordable housing in our community is to add to the inventory. So, yeah, these developments and others that want to densify existing neighborhoods, new neighborhoods, it's the more product that's on the market, the cheaper they all become.
And that'll help people not only in the Leavenworth Neighborhood Association, but also the city in general as we continue the challenge of affordable housing that we work every day towards.
Correct. You know, I'll add one thing. It's the number of units that we put into production. It's also the different types. So not everybody wants to live in a single family home. Not everybody wants to live in an apartment, and there's a lot of options in between. So what we're trying to do is densify all areas of the city with a number of different housing types for people to choose from.
Thanks. And there's other lights on. I appreciate again, Laura, for being here today. I am supportive and recognize those challenges, but you got the mill on Leavenworth, a lot of development going on very nearby, the streetcar. I'm guessing there'll be students at UNO and Creighton and the Med Center, or if grandma or grandpa want to retire and not leave Hanscom Park or Leavenworth, then maybe they might want to live here in this new development. Is that a fair analysis of who you're targeting?
I would say that's a very fair analysis, yes.
Okay, thanks. Councilman Rowe, you're recognized. Thanks for waiting, Don.
Thank you. Laura, thanks for coming down today, and Dan, I appreciate that. I look at the developments that your team has put together in the last 20 years, probably maybe more. You've done some remarkable work with missing middle housing across the Douglas and Sarpy County. You did the infill projects on Park Avenue, and I guess my question is, we did get some feedback on the parking issue, which I don't think is very valid personally, just looking at the numbers. But I was wondering if you could speak to your experience with the parking in those areas where you are increasing the density, like on Park Avenue. What's your experience been with parking issues in those older projects?
I generally feel like it's kind of in that realm of trying to maximize the use of the parking spaces, right? So there can certainly be peak hours where it's going to be harder to find a spot, but overall the properties function well and our residents can find adequate parking. It may not be as convenient to get to as if you're out west pulling into a Walmart parking lot, so to speak. But it functions and it works. And I think one thing that was occurring to me as we were having parking discussions earlier is, trying to ask ourselves, and it's a hard thing to solve too, right? But what do we want to lead design, the design of our communities? Do we want cars to dictate how we go plan? Or do we want to plan for humans first? And how can we do that? We use parking efficiently.
Appreciate that answer. I appreciate Mr. Fanslaw's comments, because this is the direction that we've been heading for some time. It's what we've been laying out expectations for developers. And so it'd be disingenuous of us to vote no on projects that appear to be checking all the boxes. So thanks for doing what you do on affordable housing. We appreciate it, and we recognize the need.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Goodwin. You're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. And this just goes back to, I think this is a great discussion because we've had several developments come forward, and parking has been a part of all of the discussions. I have a connecting question to some of the comments that Councilmember Rowe mentioned for Mr. Fanslaw, and that is how this factors into transit-orient development, even when you don't maybe have that zoning. How does a zoning for PUR, planned unit redevelopment overlay, factor into transit-orient development?
Sure. So there are only, Dave Fanslow, City Planning. There's only, not, TOD is not permissible everywhere in the city, much like a PUR or a PUD does. So in those areas that aren't designated for TOD and TOD in the future, we use the PUR tool, use the PUD tool. I think it's important to note that for PURs, much like TOD zoning, they're required to follow our urban design code. So, building materials, addressing the street, making it walkable. So a PUR and TOD are similar, but they're just not used in the same areas of town.
So, again, you're the expert here, but what I'm gathering is we're moving toward more denser, more walkable communities with less parking. Is
Yeah.
somewhat the end goal in many of these zoning types, correct?
Yeah, no doubt. So we have, the planning department and some of our, partnering departments in the city have known this for a number of years, right? And we've done our best to promote this type of development. We've all had the conversation about, we don't have an infinite amount of land left to develop. So we've been, if you will, we've been steering this ship for about 20 years, and we're starting to see some fruits of our labor and some traction in this area, and it's only going to continue.
All right. And so if I might just make the comment that it's not that we're not listening to neighbors who have reasonable concerns about today and how they might park, but we're trying to factor in what we learn and know from not only our developers, but also the departments that, guide us in our decision making. So thank you for that.
Can I comment?
Sure.
So the reason why we were able to, and developers are able to bring these projects to the department, to the planning board, and to the city council is because we've all worked in cooperation, putting those tools in place that get people here in front of the council for projects just like this. And, we do a darn good job upstairs to make sure that the projects that come to the council that receive our positive recommendation follow those policies and those zoning codes that this council and past councils have supported. So we appreciate it.
And so would it be fair also to say that not only is there a city master plan, which we know we are updating, but that many of these neighborhoods do have corresponding plans that developers are supposed to be guided by?
Yes, that's true.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. So our great clerk, Miss Butler, is putting me back on task. So I believe, Miss Butler, we are on proponents, correct?
Correct.
Okay. I got a little sidetracked, so I appreciate you keeping me in line there. Are there, okay, so is it okay that Councilman Fetzer made a motion? And I'll second that. Now, then I call for, yeah.
She's asking about it.
Can I ask
Are you a proponent?
well, it's not, it's really, it's just a question on how they're planning.
Okay, let me get through the proponents and opponents. Thanks. Okay, are there any other proponents? Seeing none, are there any opponents here on item number 26?
How do you make this work? I don't think I've actually used this part before.
There you go.
Oh, okay, cool. Okay, you can see that. So,
Okay, there you go, perfect. Make sure you stay by the microphone so we can hear you and people at
Yeah,
home can.
and I'm gonna
And
turn
give
this
your
to-
name and address, and the floor is all yours.
so I'm just turning up the brightness so you can actually see that. There you go. Okay, so my name is Alexander Liu, 9505 South 27th Street in Bellevue, 68147. I just had a question for the developers over here, and actually pretty much all of them, because I haven't heard anybody mention ADA and how you guys are actually counting in the spaces you're supposed to be including. The thing I have on my phone here is I had to pull up the 2010 standards of Title II of ADA, which require that you include a specific number of spaces based on how many spaces you have. And they do include street parking. I know you guys like to say that doesn't matter, but it does. So you have to have a certain number of spaces based on the amount of total spaces for your property. And that is an actual requirement of ADA, which is federal law. And nobody has mentioned that, and you said disingenuous, and you don't want to be disingenuous, but it is very disingenuous to give a total number of spaces that you are giving, whether this is residents of the of your apartment building or just the general people coming to visit the area, but then you're not giving an actual total number, because if they are not disabled and you say you have 20 spaces, well, those 20 spaces, they're only going to have maybe 19 or 18 of those. right? Because 2 of those are going to have to be designated disabled spaces. So then you don't actually have 20 spaces, do you? And that's assuming you're actually following it, because this is an actual problem we have here in Omaha, and it's something I had to file an ADA complaint with the city for. So nobody's addressed this, and it's kind of a problem. Also, the walkability aspect, you guys keep saying that too. We want to get rid of parking, and I'm all for, doing that because the environment is important, and I'm, a big proponent of that. However, we do need to take into account, disability as well, because especially with all the construction going around, we keep closing down, all these different parts of even like the bus routes and things, and people who are disabled cannot get around the city. So if people are like there are blind people, like people who are in the NFB with me who cannot get to downtown because you've closed down certain areas of the bus route and they're inaccessible. So what are we going to do when you make it that so that we cannot get to certain areas of the city because, it's walkable, say, but then people who have mobility issues can't actually walk there. So you need to clarify these things in your plans, and you are not taking us into account, and it does violate federal law. So I'm just pointing that out, and it would be appreciated if you do take us into account when you are planning these out. Thank you.
Thank you. I really appreciate you bringing that up, and if Laura or if Dan, you want to answer that on the
Sure.
ADA, appreciate the question.
Dan Dozal, Herr Griffin. Yes, in every job we do, we provide accessible entry into the building. We provide accessible parking lots. The count does include the handicap stall. It's not exclusive of it. So when we say, excuse me, 19 stalls, you're required to have 1 stall per 25 to be ADA. So the 19 stalls would have been 20 without the ADA because you lose a spot for the unload zone for the handicap stall. So we do have the stall on the inside. I have had projects, this isn't one of them because we're not working past the curb, where we've had to provide a handicap stall in the street. There's a policy about that, but we're not doing that now because we're not dealing with any public improvements in this particular project.
Okay, thank you. Where are we at, opponents now? Okay. Are there any other opponents? Item 26. Public hearing is closed. Councilmember Hug, you are recognized.
Sir, would you come back up? I don't know if I like the name Hanscom Place. I got a better name for it.
Go for it.
Brando Place. Because Marlon Brando's birth home is just catty corner across the street to the northwest.
Well, I can
31.
I think I'm a pretty good
sorry.
engineer, but I'm not a name player. That would be the owner call on the names and all that, but I appreciate you.
Well, you can take my suggestion back to him.
I'll mention that too.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
We had a motion in a second, right? Thanks. No further lights. Roll call.
Melton. Rowe. Festerson. Goodwin. Harding.
Yes.
Hug. Mr. President.
Aye.
Motion passed 7-0. Items 27 and 28 can be considered together for property located at 536 and 540 South 29th Street. Planning Board and Planning Department recommend approval. Item 27, an ordinance to rezone this property from R8 District to TOD2 MUR District. Item 28, an ordinance to repeal the ACI Overlay District for this property.
Public hearing is now open on items 27 through 28. Applicant, good
Dan
afternoon.
Dozal, Erhard Griffin Associates, 3552 Farnham Street. We'll just answer questions, but I would like to jump on what Dave said earlier. But there is a long process to get to this point, and it's a pre-app meeting that's dealing with the city. Small jobs or big jobs. Sometimes the small jobs are the hardest because they're so compact and there's so many things to consider. It's one of the things I love about urban design is that it's an intricate puzzle and an intricate dance to get to where you want to be that benefits the community as well as the developer and what they're investing. The planning department, the public works department are top notch in working with us, and they're open to ideas. They're not closed minded about anything. If we come in with a solution and they might not have thought of, they consider it. Sometimes it's accepted, sometimes not. But I just wanted to I just wanted to give an accolade out to those folks. Anyway, we're here for questions, same group.
Thank you. Are there any proponents here on items 27 through 28? Seeing none, are there any opponents?
Good afternoon, Omaha City Council. Donnie R. Johnson, the Johnson Equestrian Foundation, and North Omaha Concerned Citizen Foundation, 4928 North 52nd Street. Again, I've listened to Mr. Harding, and I listened to Mrs. Goodwin. We're wanting them to exchange some programs and names, because I think what she said in the beginning about no food stamps is going to be a big problem. So if they work together, I think we'll get that
Donnie,
result.
we got to stay on the topic here. Thanks. Are there any other opponents? Public hearing is closed. Second. Motion and second. Roll call.
Melton. Rowe. Festerson. Goodwin. Harding. Hug. Mr. President.
Aye.
Motion passed 7-0. Items 29 and 30 can be considered together for property located at 3206 Leavenworth Street. Planning Board and Planning Department recommend approval. Item 29, an ordinance to rezone this property from GC District to TOD2 MX District. Item 30, an ordinance to repeal the ACI overlay district for this property.
Public hearing is now open on items 29 and 30.
Dan Dolezal, Eric Griffin, 3552 Farnham. I'll just stay quiet and answer questions if you have any.
Thanks, Dan. Are there any proponents here on 29 and 30 items today? Seeing none, are there any opponents?
Larry Storr, 5015.
Larry, can you move the microphones closer to you so people can hear? There you go. Great.
Closer?
Thank you.
Larry Storr, 5015 Lafayette Avenue, Omaha 68132. I'm against this for lots of reasons, but I drove by there today, and you know what? The buildings are already gone, the hole is already dug. So why are we wasting our time and money on something that was decided a long time ago? All it needs right now is a mayor's signature. You're implying to the people here with a public hearing that they have a chance to stop this, and that's not the case. Miss Melton may refute me when I sit down, as she usually does. But all that's left for this is for the mayor to sign it. But that hole is already dug, ladies and gentlemen. The buildings that were there are already gone.
The building is not torn down
Okay?
there.
So stop trying to pull the wool over our eyes. Don't even waste our time. Don't waste our
I was
money.
going to
Just
correct
go
you,
ahead
Larry.
and do it anyway.
The building has not
Thank
been
you.
torn down.
Thank you.
Laura, can you come up,
There's
please?
other people off topic today, sir.
Laura Tarpena, 9140 West Dodge Road, Suite 285.
Laura,
We have
can you clarify 3206 Leavenworth? Has that been torn down?
nothing's been torn down. The site has been left as it's been existing for the last numerous years. So we have not started any work at all.
Thanks. And when I drove by there this morning, it was still up, so I'm assuming it's still not torn down.
It's still there,
Okay.
yes.
Thanks. Are there any other opponents? Larry, you're out of line, please. You're not at the microphone. Thanks for respecting the rules of the meeting. Thank you. Motion and a second. Roll call. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me close the public hearing. And now we got a motion and a second. Roll call.
Melton. Rowe. Festerson. Goodwin. Harding. Hug. Mr. President.
Aye.
Motion passed 7-0. Items 31 and 32 can be considered together regarding the 2025 annexation package. Planning Board and Planning Department recommend approval. Item 31, an ordinance to amend the official zoning map of the City of Omaha. Item 32, an ordinance to approve an amendment to the future land use element of the Omaha Master Plan to include the extraterritorial area expanded as a result of the annexation.
Public hearing is now open on items 31 and 32. Mr. England, good afternoon.
Yes, thank you. Eric England, Planning Department. Thank you, President and other members of the council. This is a follow-up to the most recent City of Omaha annexation that was effective on July 30th that incorporated in several hundred acres of Douglas County land previously. So these items are related. One of them is a zoning conversion, and the other would be an amendment to adopt our land use designations on the future land use map. Here for any questions.
Thank you. Are there any proponents on items 31 and 32? Seeing none, are there any opponents? Public hearing is closed. Motion and a second. Roll call.
Melton. Rowe. Festerson. Goodwin. Harding.
Yes.
Hug. Mr. President.
Aye.
Motion passed 7-0. Item 33, a resolution to approve the special use permit to allow scrap and salvage services in the GI district located at 10409 I Street. Planning Board and Planning Department recommend approval.
Public hearing is now open on item 33. Is the applicant here today? Are there any proponents on item 33? Seeing none, are there any opponents? Public hearing is closed. Motion and a second. Roll call.
Melton. Rowe. Festerson. Goodwin. Harding. Hug. Mr. President.
Aye.
Motion passed 7-0. Item 34, a resolution to approve the special use permit to allow daycare services in the R4 district located at 17525 Redmond Avenue. Planning Board and Planning Department recommend approval.
I'll open the public hearing now on item number 34. Is the applicant here today? Are there any opponents? I'm sorry, are there any proponents? Proponents on item 34. Seeing none, are there any opponents? Public hearing is closed. Motion and a second. Roll call.
Melton. Rowe. Festerson. Goodwin. Harding. Hug. Mr. President.
Aye.
Motion passed 7-0. Item 35, a resolution to approve the special use permit for development in the ED overlay district located at 6820 Northern Hills Drive. Planning Board and Planning Department recommend approval.
Public hearing is now open on item number 35. The applicant here today?
Elizabeth Hunter with Snyder and Associates. I represent Keith Edquist, Engineering and Planning.
And your address, please?
Oh, I'm sorry, 11850 Nicholas, Omaha.
Thank you. Are there any proponents here today? Seeing none, are there any opponents? Public hearing is closed. Motion and a second. Roll call.
Melton. Rowe. Festerson. Goodwin. Harding. Hug. Mr. President.
Aye.
Motion passed 7-0. Items 36 and 37 can be considered together for property located at 506 North Skyline Drive. Planning Board and Planning Department recommend approval. Item 36, a resolution to approve the special use permit to allow custom manufacturing in the CC district. Item 37, an ordinance to amend the boundaries of the ACI 4 PL overlay district to incorporate this property into that district.
Public hearing is now open on items 36 and 37. Applicant, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Kyle Vole with the Unique Consulting Group, here on behalf of the applicant, just here for questions today.
Did you give your address?
Sorry, 10909 Mill Valley Road.
Thank you. Are there any proponents? Seeing none, are there any opponents? Public hearing is closed. Motion and a second. Roll call.
Melton. Rowe. Festerson. Goodwin. Harding. Hug. Mr. President.
Aye.
Motion passed 7-0. Items 38 through 41 can be considered together for property located north of Missouri Avenue and L Street. Planning Board and Planning Department recommend approval. B is communication in opposition. Item 38, a resolution to approve a special use permit to allow recreational club in the R7 district. Item 39, an ordinance to rezone this property from R7 district and GC district to R7 district. Item 40, an ordinance to amend the boundaries of the MCC overlay district to incorporate this property into that district. And item 41, an ordinance to approve an amendment to the future land use element of the city's master plan from office commercial and low-density residential to high-density residential.
The public hearing is now open on items numbers 38 through 41. Applicants, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Bryce Danielson with Blair Freeman, 4616 Dodge Street. We're the owner's rep on the project and here to answer any questions that you have.
Thank you.
Hi, Candy Jones, Girls Inc. of Omaha, 4811 North 45th Street. Here to answer any questions.
Thank you. Are there any proponents here today? Items 38 through 41. Seeing none, are there any opponents?
Good afternoon, Omaha City Council, Donnie R. Johnson, the Johnson Equestrian Foundation, and North Omaha Concerned Citizen Foundation, 4928 North 52nd Street. As I was saying, Mr. Maurice Goodwin, back in my generation, 1967, we was the only African American at this particular white school, and we worked together, just like these couple. So that's why I went with Mr. Goodwin, or Mrs. Goodwin, and Mr. Hardy.
Donnie, we got to stay on topic. Thanks. Are there any other opponents? Public hearing is closed. Councilmember Festerson, you're recognized.
Thanks, Mr. President. I just wanted to say I support these items and was able to attend the groundbreaking for what is going to be the new Girls Inc. Location in South Omaha, just blocks from South High School. And it was a great ceremony that day. Candy, I appreciate your passion that was on display that day for sure, along with all the strong, smart, and bold girls that were there. So it was fantastic, and I look forward to seeing this come to fruition. And I'll let Councilman Hug from South Omaha make that motion.
He took the words right out of my mouth. So moved.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Roll call.
Melton. Rowe. Festerson.
Yes.
Goodwin. Harding.
Yes.
Hug. Mr. President.
Aye.
Motion passed 7-0. Consent agenda. Any member of the City Council may cause any item placed on the consent agenda to be removed. Items removed from the consent agenda shall be taken up by the City Council immediately following the consent agenda in the order in which they were removed, unless otherwise provided by the City Council Rules of Order.
The public hearing on agenda items 42 through 47 were held on October 28th, 2025. Any council discussion? Got a motion and a second. Roll call.
Melton. Rowe. Festerson. Goodwin. Harding.
Yes.
Hug. Mr. President.
Aye.
Motion passed 7-0.
The public hearings on agenda items 48 through 66 are today. If you wish to address the City Council regarding these items, please come to the microphone, indicate the agenda item and which you care to address, identify yourself by your name, address, and who you represent, and if you are a proponent or opponent, I will now open the public hearing. Are there any proponents on items 48 through 66? Seeing none, are there any opponents? The public hearing is closed. Got a motion and a second. No lights. Roll call.
Melton. Rowe. Festerson. Goodwin. Harding. Hug. Mr. President.
Aye.
Motion passed 7-0. Item 67, an ordinance to approve the Little Bow Historic Tax Increment Financing Redevelopment Agreement. A's communication in opposition.
Public hearing is now open on item 67. Mr. Seaton, good afternoon.
Don Seaton, City Planning, here for any questions you may have.
Thank you. Are there any proponents here today? Item 67.
Tom McClay, 1323 South 12th Street. I'm back. Hopefully it'll be much quicker this occasion. This is the agreement portion of the plan that you all approved a couple of months ago now, I believe. I do want to add, I did not thank Jen Taylor for all of her work on
We were wondering if you were going to do that because we caught you on it. So.
Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, Mr. McClay. Are there any other proponents here? Item 67. Seeing none, are there any opponents? Public hearing is closed.
Item 68, an ordinance to approve the Little Bow Village Mixed-Use Tax Increment Financing Redevelopment Agreement.
Public hearing is now open on item 68. Mr. Seaton.
Don Seaton, City Planning, and again, I'm here for any questions.
Thank you. Are there any proponents?
One, and I believe final time today, Tom McClay, 1323 South 12th Street. I have happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other proponents? Seeing none, are there any opponents? Public hearing is closed.
Item 69, an ordinance to approve a grant agreement with Project Harmony in the amount of $400,000 over a period of 5 years to fund a crime analyst to assist in Project Harmony's anti-trafficking initiative.
I'll open the public hearing and now on item number 69. Are there any proponents? Seeing none, are there any opponents? Public hearing is closed.
Item 70, an ordinance to accept the bid.
Oh, I beg your pardon. Councilmember Fesserson, the floor is yours.
Thanks. I just wanted to have a short word on this item, which I'll be supportive of next week or 2 weeks from now when we vote on it. I had the opportunity to attend Project Harmony's annual community meeting last week. They're doing fantastic work. They had a very powerful presentation about sex trafficking and child abuse in our community, which is a really important issue and one that is more prevalent than most people believe. The City of Omaha and Omaha Police Department now have over 50 dedicated detectives at that site working on this issue, and this will be in addition to that by adding this crime analyst. So something I think we're all supportive of, and I appreciate their partnership and work in the community. Thank you.
Thanks, Pete.
Item 70, an ordinance to accept the bid from Great Plains Realty Auction Company to provide for auctioneering services for the Omaha Police Department impound facility.
I'll open the public hearing now on item number 70. Are there any proponents? Seeing none, are there any opponents? Public hearing is closed. Councilmember Fesserson, gotcha, you're recognized.
From before. The one time you recognized me.
I gotcha, I blew it, all right.
Item 71, an ordinance to approve an agreement with the Women's Center for Advancement in the amount of $52,000 and to authorize funding from the City of Omaha's fiscal year 2024 Stop Violence Against Women Grant Award.
Public hearing is now open on item number 71. Are there any proponents here today? Seeing none, are there any opponents? Public hearing is closed. Councilman Fesserson, your light's on, you're recognized. I want to recognize you every time. Now it disappears on me. Okay, thanks.
Item 72, an ordinance to amend various sections of Chapter 54 of the Omaha Municipal Code to help ensure that private residential pools meet updated safety standards to provide guidelines for instances of noncompliance with these safety standards.
I'm going to open the public hearing now on item number 72. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Eric Browley, Division Chief Environmental Health for Douglas County Health Department. I have Russ Hayden here, who's our Supervisor of Sanitary Engineering for Douglas County Health Department, as well as our Health Director, Dr. Lindsay Hughes. Address is 1111 South 41st Street. For the past decade or so, this ordinance has required a fence to be installed around a residential pool. If it was an above-ground pool with sides taller than 4 to 8 inches, a mechanical cover could be used. Within the last couple of years, we had a homeowner who did not want to put in a fence, who had a private attorney review and give an interpretation on this ordinance, saying that a fence, basically saying a mechanical cover could be used in lieu of a fence. We had the city attorney review it, and they agreed that the way the current ordinance is written, that is an interpretation that can be made. Since then, we have had a few that have gone in that do not want to put in a fence, and we've had to just have them resubmit their application and change that they were going to put a fence in and say they're going to put a mechanical cover in. The proposal that we're presenting to you today actually changes the language back to what the original interpretation was, saying you must put in a fence. If you do have an above ground pool, we do allow the size of that pool, if it's 48 inches or higher, that can be considered as part of the barrier, part of the fence. But otherwise, mechanical cover cannot be used in lieu of the fence. We're also proposing some fines for failure to obtain a permit before beginning pool construction. We have a handful of contractors that do this every year. They start building the pool, and then when they reach out to get permits from the city's like, well, you need a pool permit from the health department, and they reach out to us. Currently, all we can do is really chase after them to get them to fill out the application and pay the permit fee. This will allow us to do a $100 fine on the first time plus 2 times the fee. Second offense would be $200 plus 4 times the fee. And then moving on from that, it'd be a $500 fine plus 4 times the fee. And the other changes are basically just cleaning up the language in the code. Thank you.
Thanks. Are there any other proponents here? Seeing none, are there any opponents? Public hearing is closed. Councilmember Fesserson, you're recognized, big guy.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm not just messing with you this time.
All right, all right, all right.
I'll just say I appreciate this update. I will support this in a couple weeks for all the reasons just noted here. I think there was outreach to the pool installation community and those businesses. The other thing I think it's important to point out too is item G in this ordinance, which is any current pool who may have fencing and may have some of these things in place would not automatically be in violation of this ordinance. It would only be if they had substantial renovations or reconstruction of those pools. We can all think of them in our residential areas. So this would not apply to them immediately, only if they had major changes. I think that's an important thing to point out. So this is prospective, should this be approved in 2 weeks. Thank you.
Thanks.
Item 73, an ordinance to amend various sections of Chapter 6 of the Omaha Municipal Code regarding wildlife, chickens, and other fowl.
I'll open the public hearing now on item number 73. Proponents.
Eric Browley, Division Chief, Environmental Health. As I mentioned, Russ Hayden and Dr. Lindsay Hughes are here from Douglas County Health Department as well, 1111 South 41st Street. The first part I'm going to read here is what we submitted with our survey that we sent out to the Backyard Chicken Group that we reached out to on Facebook. Sustainability in backyard chicken keeping is crucial for ensuring environmental, economic, and social benefits. Raising chickens at home can promote sustainable food production by providing fresh eggs, reducing food waste as chickens can eat chicken scraps, and producing natural fertilizer for gardens. Additionally, backyard chickens can contribute to biodiversity by controlling pests and improving soil health. However, regulatory control is essential to balance sustainability with public health, animal welfare, and community concerns. Proper regulations help prevent issues such as overcrowding, disease outbreaks, noise disturbances, and waste management problems. They also ensure humane treatment of the chickens and safeguard local ecosystems from potential environmental impacts. So as I said, we reached out to this group and we've received 35 responses which have been provided to you. Per the request this morning, we've also reached out to the Omaha Local Foods Coordinating Council, Omaha Urban Farm and Gardens, and the Omaha Neighborhood Directory, provide them with a copy of the proposed ordinance, and also gave them the email of the city clerk so they can send any responses to you by November 18th, which is the third reading of this ordinance. The main changes to this ordinance, we are limiting the number of chickens to 10. There was no limit in the original code. It was basically just based on square footage for the coop, up to 4 square foot per chicken. If you're on 2 or more acres, then you do not require a permit, so you do not need to worry about any of this. We do have in there, based on 5 years from whatever this is adopted, anybody with more that is currently permitted with more than 10 chickens does have 5 years to get their number down to 10. We won't be making them immediately get rid of those chickens. Roosters are not allowed in the city. It is currently not specifically spelled out in this code. We've been using the noise portion of the nuisance ordinance to address the roosters. We want to put it in here and specifically say no roosters. As mentioned during our meetings last week, we had 4 active rooster complaints at that time. So that is basically our biggest complaint regarding this program. And it also allows the Board of Health to set a fee structure for initial applications and annual renewals. Currently, we receive no funding to or any fees to do this program. We want to set a decent fee to help us on the initial application so we can review the application, talk with the owners, go out and actually put eyes on the chicken coop to make sure it's built properly and is good for the chickens. Then an annual renewal fee, which would be small, just to kind of cover our expenses on addressing the complaints as they come in. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other proponents here on item number 73? Seeing none, are there any opponents? Public hearing is closed. Councilmember Goodwin, you're recognized.
President, I just wanted to say we appreciate just the update, Eric, on the outreach you've already made. As we discussed in pre-planning today, there was some concern from constituents that perhaps they wanted more information or didn't have that opportunity to speak with you. Maybe they didn't know about the survey. So we appreciate you being proactive in that regard. It sounds like this ordinance is really to bring clarity to some process and procedure that you've been doing maybe without the teeth of an ordinance. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Yes, so you talked about the active roosters. Technically, can you explain, because I think there's also a little bit of maybe information about how roosters play a part in active coops, and are they necessary?
Actually, if I can defer to my supervisor, Russ Hayden here, he's more familiar with those specifics.
Hi, Russ Hayden, supervisor for the Douglas County Health Department, 4102 Woolworth Avenue. Roosters do play a role somewhat in coops. They can be kind of a protective animal in some ways. I mean, it's not great protection if if a fox or anything like that is coming up, the rooster really isn't going to provide any protection. It could provide some protection maybe from rats or mice and stuff like that. But normally chickens, I have 4 chickens of my own, no rooster. They produce eggs, normally just fine. I live out in the country. They protect themselves pretty normally. So I don't see an actual need for the roosters as what a lot of people say as a protector of their flock.
Thank you. And in terms of the outreach to some of those community groups, what will be that process? Can you repeat that again? I know you mentioned it in
We
your...
provided them basically with the same language we sent the chicken group on the survey, basically saying that the city council requested us to reach out to you so you can provide feedback. Provided them a copy of the ordinance, kind of listed out the main changes that I mentioned today, and provided them with the city clerk's email so they can send any comments to the city clerk and they can provide them to you with a deadline of the third reading of the ordinance.
Thank you.
So about 2 weeks.
Thank you. Council Member Harding, you're recognized.
Thanks, Mr. President. Eric, just one quick question. On the number of fowl that will be allowed, as I read that paragraph, it seems that you're limiting it to 10, but you're also, I got the impression from the way it reads that it is not until you introduce a different fowl that then the 1 per 4 square foot comes into play. Can you have more than 10?
Still 10, is it? It should still be 10 total.
But, okay, so it's...
The 4 square foot would be, I think, the size of the coop. We'd have to make sure it's 4 square feet.
Okay, so because the way and maybe we can look at it, we have a couple weeks to look at it, but I just want to make sure that we're clear on that language, because I think as it reads today, it doesn't say that you're limited per 1 per 4 square foot if it were all just chickens, that it's just 1 per square foot if you introduce another fowl in addition to chickens.
Okay, we'll
so
take
like
a look
a
at
duck or something like that.
Okay, thank you for bringing that up.
Okay,
We'll take a look
thanks.
at it.
Thank you. Okay. Is there a motion to go into executive session to protect the public interest to discuss personnel matters? Got a motion and a second.
Melton. Rowe. Festerson. Goodwin. Harding. Hug. Mr. President.
Aye.
Motion passed 7-0.
Need to read this now or when
Yeah.
we come out? Read this now.
Before.
Okay. I will state for the record, the purpose of the executive session is to only discuss personnel matters. Executive session will include the following: the city attorney, the city council, the city clerk, and the city council chief of staff. We good? And also the finance director.
I'll keep them for the record.
You can keep those for the record. Perfect.
They were up on the podium.
Okay to go now?
Yep.
Okay. Read this. Okay, restating the only topic discussed in executive session was personnel matters. Motion to come out of executive session? Got a motion and a second. Roll call.
Melton. Rowe. Festerson. Goodwin. Harding. Hug. Mr. President.
Aye. Motion is second to adjourn. Roll call.
Melton. Rowe. Festerson.
Yes.
Goodwin. Harding. Hug. Mr. President.
Aye.
Motion passed 7-0. Meeting is adjourned at 4:28.